Welcome, everyone. Everyone watching tonight, we appreciate you. Tonight, we are going to have Journey into the Haunted. We're going to talk about their investigations, a couple of the events that they have coming up, and their Etsy shop where they have some really cool stuff. Go check out the Good Juju dolls. And we're going to talk to Tina and Marcus tonight. Tina and Marcus, excuse me.
The Paranomalies podcast would like to thank Twinkle Twinkle Little Store located in Cheyenne, Wyoming for sponsoring our show.
Good evening, Jason. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Doing well. Pretty happy it's midweek. We're over the hump and weekend is getting closer.
It is. And week always seems to go slow when we have an investigation scheduled for the weekend. So
I know.
this week is definitely creeping by.
Yeah. So we are going to be somewhere this weekend. We'll try to do a live and let everyone see that. And we're excited for that.
This we've been wanting to get into for a while. So I am stoked.
For sure. And then in comes Michelle, our newest member. She's like, hey, let's go here. And we're like, yeah, let's go
No
there.
big deal. We can do it. It's like,
So before we get started, I do want to touch on a new sponsor that we're going to have. They're going to sponsor the team, as well as we will have their stuff up on the podcast soon. But Horn Paranormal Research, we're excited to have them on board with us. You're going to see us using their equipment, the SLS and the XLS. They've helped us out with our teen class, the Ghost Hunting 101. Worked us some deals on some stuff for giveaways. So we're happy to have them coming on board with us.
yeah, some amazing people that are in the paranormal field. And yeah, very happy to be working with them.
Yeah, everyone can go back and watch our very first episode from October. We had them on then.
Yep. They were the ones who helped us kick this off.
Yep. But tonight we have Journey into the Haunted. We have Tina and Marcus, and we're going to chat with them. Good evening, guys. How are you?
Good evening.
Hello, good evening. We're doing good.
Good. So you're over there in Nebraska, and how is the weather over there right now?
Nice.
Nice today. It's
Nice
been kinda
today and
crazy.
tomorrow, and then they're calling for blizzards on Saturday night, Sunday. So
That's what they're saying for us too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello.
those like 80-degree temperature drops between days is tough. I'm ready for it
It
to level
really
out
is.
and stay spring-like for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone that watches know we usually talk about that and how much we hate the cold over here. I don't know how close to the Missouri you are, but do you get
we're on the
humidity?
Missouri.
So
we're
yeah, you're getting all that extra humidity.
yep, we're right at the corner where Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska meet, where they all touch, and the Missouri River runs right through there. So
Well, yep. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, we saw Aaron with the corn sweat in Kansas. Yeah. So
Yeah.
oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Kind of
not
nuts
fun.
how much that causes humidity and stuff with
Mhm.
that corn sweating.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a whole new term to us. Being from the high plains in Wyoming, one of our members was like, check this out. And we're like, oh my goodness, what is that? So let's start with what it got you guys interested in the paranormal.
Well, it kind of started with me, and I was probably the last person you'd ever expect to get involved in the paranormal. I would never have thought this would happen. And it just was a friend that I found out did this and was starting to follow what he was doing on Facebook. And when I'd see him, I'd always be asking him, where are you going next? What are you doing? What'd you see? And he kept trying to talk me into going, and I just kept saying no. And about a year went by, and I finally just went, if I ever wanted to just see what this was all about, I trust him. He knows these places. He knows what he's doing. Let's just go for it. Why not? So I went, and the first place I ever went to was called Malvern Manor in Malvern, Iowa. It's about 2 hours right from our front doorstep. And that night, it was probably like a jackpot first night for someone who's investigating. We had someone get scratched, we had shadow people, we had people get touched, hair tugged, voices, just the whole thing, all night long stuff was going on. And he kept telling me, you're either going to be hooked or you're going to leave and never want to do this again. And I think I was hooked, and he invited me along on a few other investigations, and I would say yes to everything I could, and kind of got out there and started meeting people. That's been the best part about all of this is started meeting people, and they'd invite me to come and join them. And somewhere along the line, I wanted a paranormal music box, which this paranormal equipment is not cheap, and
Yeah.
Mark he's very good with electronics and technical stuff and all that. And I kind of, asked him if he could build one, and he's like, no. And I know no means the wheels are starting to spin already. And he found a video out on YouTube, made one. I took it on some investigations, and people wanted to buy it off me. And I sold a couple of them. And then we got to the point where, you got to watch all your income and stuff from things. And it was like, well, we either need to, start a business and really launch this, or just kind of let it fizzle out. And we decided to kind of jump in and formed our business. And since then, I've kind of gotten him to come out on more investigations with me. He's been getting more active each year doing that. And it's just been very interesting stuff. And the people have been amazing.
Where are some of the places that you've investigated besides Malvern?
We've been kind of all over the place, but out here, the Villisca Axe Murder House isn't too far. I've been there. The Squirrel Cage Jail in Council Bluffs. We've done Waverly, Missouri State Pen. I love to go there. The 1889 McIntyre Villa in Atchison, Kansas. Is one of my favorite places. I'll be going there in a couple weeks again. It's just beautiful place.
Farrar
Elementary, another Iowa.
Beatty Mansion, Glore Psychiatric Museum.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it, up in Yankton.
That
And
mansion up there.
I went out to Ohio and met some girls this winter in December in Ohio.
Oh no.
It was horrible. I've never been so cold in my entire life. But we did Fairfield County Infirmary and Madison Seminary. And then on my drive back, I stopped for a day tour at Indiana State Sanatorium.
Oh.
And the caretaker just happened to mention that they didn't have anybody staying the night that night. And so I asked him, what's the crazy price for somebody passing through to stay here? And he told me what it was, and I had to book a hotel somewhere anyways. And it set me about 4 hours back on my drive the next day. But I did Indiana State Sanatorium by myself.
That's impressive.
It was I went in there and I did a little bit of investigating, but I'm really smart about stuff too, because if I don't know, could have fallen through a floor, I don't know what could have happened there, but I was by myself, and there was nobody would have found me till like the next day when tours were coming through. So I did some investigating, but not a lot. And then I stayed there, but then the next morning I went back through and did some stuff before, tours started again. But I would love to go back there.
anything happen to you overnight while you were trying to sleep there, or did it seem to leave you alone?
They have a couple options for where you can sleep. So they have up on a hill, they have a separate building and they've got like their gift shop in there and then some little rooms and you can rent a room and just kind of sleep there with a bed and all that. So I opted to sleep in there just because I was worn down from the trip and had a long drive. And two, when I went through during the day, I got down in the kitchen area and I saw this black mass just go shooting across. And it freaked me out. And it was just a dog that had wandered in. So, it's out in the middle of nowhere and there's open doors and I wasn't going to get eaten by a wolf or something. I don't know. So I opted for the nice comfy bed.
Nice.
So the one in the McIntyre Villa, is that the one that's owned by the same guy that owns Blue Hill?
No.
Or not Blue Hill.
No.
Sorry,
Stephanie
White
Riley
Face.
has back into
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stephanie
Stephanie.
has it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Have you been there?
We have not.
No.
Yeah.
No.
The place is absolutely gorgeous and pictures just don't do it justice. And I don't know that I've ever had a quiet night when we've been there either. It's
Oh, geez.
usually something going on.
Right on. How about a bucket list place? If there's one place that you really want to go to,
Mm.
Marcus is
Um,
smiling. I think he has one.
Oh, I'm sure she's got more than one. That's why I'm smiling.
yeah. Pennhurst is one I'd like to get to. Kind of some stuff up in that area we haven't really done or been exposed to. So
Mhm.
I'd really like to get out that way and do some stuff.
You're in that nice area where there's quite a few places, all close within a few hours. We talk about it almost weekly. We're stuck out here in the West and we're 10 to 13 hours, from things, or even on the coast, it's 2 days to get there. So
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be tough.
we were over in Blue Hill, Nebraska, just south of Grand Island.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was 6 hours. We did Squirrel Cage Jail. We were over there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a pretty cool place. We didn't catch much there, but it was still really cool just to be there and hang out.
Yeah. I've been there a number of times. I never say no to Squirrel Cage Jail just because wandering that place at night with a flashlight is just the coolest thing. It's such a cool place, but other than a few maybe cat ball incidences here or there, it's usually pretty quiet, but I love to go there. I'll always say yes to an invite there.
Yeah, it's a really neat place. And for people that don't know, it's a jail that's on a turntable and the cells were pie shape and it was built that way so one jailer could do everything. And it was the only 3-story jail. I think there was 19 jails like that total, and there's only 3 left. There's a 1-story, a 2-story, and a 3-story.
Yeah.
So pretty neat. And they just do tours. You can just go walk through there. So if anyone ever gets over that way, go check it out because it is a pretty cool place.
Yeah, and the gals that work there know so much history. I mean, and they are just constantly learning more and more, and the tour is so worth it.
So I did see that we talked to Kat quite a bit because Kat is a UW graduate from Wyoming. I did see that she's leaving.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was posted on their page yesterday or day before. So off to better opportunities, I hope, and doing her thing. So, but she was
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. So, and you host events. So what kind of events do you put on?
When I started going to events, I went to a lot of things that were just kind of very welcoming to new people that didn't have any experience or any equipment. And everybody was just so nice and so kind, and we had so much fun. It's kind of like, my goal. I like to be able to kind of give that back and just kind of welcome anybody into our events. So things out here are getting harder and harder to book. I mean, we're booking stuff a year in advance, and even then it's getting kind of hard to do. But most of the events I'm doing are at Malvern Manor, which again was the first place I ever went. And it can take a pretty good group of people. So we kind of split off and do breakout sessions, and just like I learned, kind of use every piece of equipment and try and help people learn how to use everything. And it's been so much fun. And I just keep going back to the people have been so great, that we've met not only through the Etsy store, but through events. And, it's so cool to see somebody come to an event, and then the next time you post an event, they're buying tickets again. And then, you start seeing the repeat people and you get to know them, and it's just been fun. But I thought it would be a fun thing to do a girls' night at a haunted location. So that's what I'm doing April 5th. So it's coming up. So we're just going to have a ladies' night at Malvern Manor and do some fun things and silly photo shoot and, paint our nails and hang out and hunt ghosts. So
Very cool.
I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a good time. Mark's going to come and help me set up, and then he booked a hotel for the night.
Right. Taking off.
So he's ditching me there, but I'm really excited. I've got some friends, Gypsy Witch Paranormal out of the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area, Charity and Michelle, amazing ladies. They're coming down to kind of help me run the event and, help teach some new people and learn from experienced folks. And then last year we did a Halloween event at Malvern Manor, which was so much fun. So we booked it again for October 25th this year. So we'll do another kind of Halloween investigation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gina's over here. That's my wife and another team member of ours, and she's all yes about the women's event,
Yeah.
girls' night out. She does have a question about your events and what kind of breakout sessions do you do?
So we'll usually pick the places we're going to break out in the building, and then we'll just kind of decide, let's use these kind of pieces of equipment in this area, just so you get exposed to everything. We'll use the Estes, and we'll do dowsing rods, and
We've done human pendulum. We've done
mhm.
with the flashlight. We've got our burst box or EVP sessions. It just depends on the area and what kind of activity. Like Malvern, we've been there enough. We kind of know what stuff works in what areas.
Yeah.
So we just kind of tailor it that way. I mean, we're not limiting it to just that, but that's kind of where we go. And then they do, 45-minute breakouts, and then we take a break, maybe an hour or something.
Yeah.
Take a
sometimes not
quick
that long.
break after that, and then kind of so people get kind of a feel of the building and understand it, and
Yeah.
go over the history of it and all that kind of fun stuff.
Another one I
Nice.
like to do is just kind of senses. Like, you don't even need equipment to go into these places to maybe have experiences. It really didn't hit me so hard until we were at Waverly Hills, and they had us sitting in the hallways, just looking down these massive hallways, and you start to see shadow figures peeping out and moving. And so I always like to, try and do that with senses too, to see if you feel anything or, see something.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like what we do for our events. You kind of know what works where and how the spirits respond and what they respond with in certain areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the nights, we do that at the nights because we have 2 floors that we work on. And then we do sit in the dining room, kind of watch the kitchen, because it's super crazy when you do sit and you just let your senses take over, how a
Mhm.
dark room can get even darker when you feel
Yeah.
there's something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Melbourne's
crazy.
kind of infamous for that. It was a hotel, and it was a poor farm, and it was a building that housed people with schizophrenia and all these crazy, crazy things. But it's kind of claimed to fame as the Shadow Man. There's this hallway in what was a nursing home wing, and people report that it's about a 7-foot tall shadow figure that will just kind of bum rush from down the hallway. They'll just boom, blink of an eye, that just charges right at you. And as they had done more research, they had found out that when it was a kind of mental facility, that there was a gentleman there that was very tall and he was nonverbal. And the way he would try to get attention is to come out of his room and chase the nurses down the hallway. So that's kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure they enjoyed that. Nothing worse
Yeah.
than, you know, big tall guy jumping out of a hospital room and
Oh,
chasing
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jason. I'm going to have to leave you to do this. I have to take care of something real quick. I hear something.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, that's kind of the first time I've really experienced that. You think it's pitch black, but it just gets blacker than black, and then it just gets this whole eerie, crazy thing. And then I know that's time to bail, because that's when stuff that I don't want is going to start happening.
Yeah, we've got a location where, it's in a basement, rock walls, right, all the way around, no windows whatsoever. And you're sitting there, you're doing the investigative thing. And then it's like, how does a room with no windows and no doors get darker, right? Like you have this ambient light that's just kind of established from equipment or, whatever's sitting out, and a room can get darker. And that's one thing I've been wanting to mess around with, and just put together a quick light sensor and see if it's perception or if it's a measurable, decrease in the lighting in the room. Because
yeah, that's interesting. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because that one's always weirded me out. Like sitting in a stone brick room, and yeah, it gets darker right before something happens. And like you said, yeah, you can always tell that's when something's gonna, it's gonna pick up. It's it's that energy drain or something that just, they're getting ready to let you know they're there.
Yeah.
And Jonathan says, weird but true. I've never seen a shadow person in the dark, only in the daytime.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the gentleman
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the gentleman we were just talking to the other day was saying that once he started noticing the shadow figures, he sees them all the time during the day or in the evening. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
He just kind of, now that he's kind of attuned to them, he sees them all over the place.
Yep. And I think, maybe a lot of that comes from the brain just, like rationalizing it, right? Oh, that was, a tree moving in, the side of my vision or something like that. But yeah, I think once you kind of, like you said, get attuned to that and, start paying attention a little more, yeah, you can definitely see them. We've got a spot at the Knights of Pythias here where, it's like once you start seeing a shadow in this room, that's well lit, you always see them out of the corner of your eye after that. And, it's always, something's moving there, even though I know no one's in that room.
Crazy stuff.
So I know you said you kind of spurred your Etsy shop, trying to make some equipment more affordable and more readily available. How long have you had the Etsy shop for now?
Right at about 2 years.
2 years.
A year and a half. October.
No, it was March of 23.
Okay. And what would you say is some of your best sellers equipment wise?
Our music box, I would say, is probably our best seller. Yep.
Yeah, and then I've got a bunch of stuff sitting here, but we sell these cat ball stands, and they're so silly, but these have been so popular to the point people are buying them in bulk. I've had requests they want to buy 100 of them at a time, and we've been selling them. Yeah, and I think it's locations that are kind of like giving them to people, which is pretty cool. But you just set your cat ball on it, and places have dirt floors or slanted or whatever. They hold them, and a lot of people think they may not go off because of this, but they absolutely do. And then two, like this particular one happens to glow in the dark. So 2, 3 in the morning comes, you're dead tired and ready to go to sleep, and can't find all your darn cat balls. So having something bright, sitting around with it sitting on there helps you find them. So those were so popular that then Mark did a little thing like this, and it's for 2 cat balls, and then they can use the light up the green side for yes or for no, and then the green or red actually glows in the dark too. So these have been super popular since we started doing those too.
Yeah, I could see the cat ball stands as being handy because we've kind of got a little running joke now that it's not an investigation until someone launches a cat ball across the room. It seems like the first person to stand up in a group is going to drop kick that thing, no matter where it's set, no matter how much you pay attention. So I
Love
think I
that.
might have to get a couple glow in the dark ones to help with that. So I've got a couple cat balls that are now inop because of that.
We've come up with our, it's just a little stand to put your K2 meter in it, so you can stand it vertically. So you can
nice.
set it on a table or at the end of the hallway or whatever. And then, obviously you can still see it.
That is
And then-
one thing I never understood with the K2 is how they didn't end up putting a kickstand on the back of that thing.
Right, or stand it up, make a flat
Yep.
bottom even would be.
Yeah. Yep.
That drives me nuts because that's the one thing you always want to have in your hand, and you have all this other stuff. And so
Yeah.
I love that. And too, you can set it up clear at the end of the hallway, and yeah, it's just cool.
And then we've designed, or we've got these battery boxes that have like modular, AA, AAA, 9-volt, and you can do two or a single one of these modules, right? And then
Okay.
we've even got inserts for like SD cards, micro SD cards, just so you can, you have your spare batteries or whatever in a container, so you can find them. They're not just rolling around in your bag somewhere.
All right, for everyone listening, we just put the link for the Journey into the Haunted's Etsy shop up on the banner there. So make sure to, go to that link and see what they've got. They've got a lot of cool equipment there. Oh,
Yep.
I see. Looks like you're holding a music box.
Hold the music box. So you can also go to journeyintothehaunted.com. That'll take you to our Etsy store.
Oh, good to know. Okay.
So anyway, so this is our music box. It's just got an infrared sensor on the one end. It's 1 to 15 meters distance. It's a 120-degree cone from the end here, so it's got a pretty broad spread on it.
Okay.
When it goes off, it plays kind of a creepy little music box tune. That is changeable. There is the option to use like a micro SD card. You can just load an MP3 on it. There's a slot inside of here. You just stick it in and it'll play that music instead of the built-in music.
Interesting. See, I like that. So you can deploy multiple and be able to tell, which side of the room or what part of the building it's on by the sound.
Which one went off and where. Yep. It does have volume control up, down, and then it does have the ability, like when you load your card in, you can hit next and kind of cycle through all of them, so everything will play before you put it out in the field. But yeah, we've had a lot of very positive feedback about our music box, particularly in how far it'll reach, the distance that they can get off of the sensor, as well as there's not a lot of false positives. People have said that they'll put it out, and if it goes off, they know it saw something because it doesn't have, it's not just randomly going off. We've had several people comment that. We had one of our customers send us a video where they had a music box upstairs and no one was up there. They were downstairs in the common room or something, and the music box just started going off on its own. It was kind of freaked them out a little bit. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I can see that.
She had set it up there, and she said, "I'm gonna freak out if that music box goes off." And it was like a minute later, the music box goes off. So that was kind of cool.
Kicks off. You're like, no, yeah. My daughter, my kids are starting to get into the age where they're curious about investigating. So I take them out every now and then, and my daughter has a love-hate relationship with the music box because she'd say it's so cool when it goes off, but it freaks me out so bad.
Yeah. We were
see, it's you're using, like you said, an infrared sensor, the PIR sensors, which have been used in security systems for years because of the reliability that once it turns on and you get that base reading, it's not going to trigger unless something, comes in that infrared sensor detects. So
Correct. Yep. Yeah. Basically, the sensor itself has two sides, and when it calibrates, it basically zeroes out those two sides. And then if there's a change between the one of the, if they don't equal, it sets it off. Essentially, is how it works.
Yep.
We were at Farrar in the attic, or not the attic, in the auditorium, and we had set up these music boxes, and we were actually trying to sleep. We'd gone up there to go to sleep, and we had one pointed to the left of the room, one pointed to the right of the room, and we were sleeping in the middle. Well, the one pointed to the left of the room, probably a half hour into going to bed, went off. But it was quick. It just went off one time. That was the end of it. It's like, okay, well, maybe it just recalibrated or something.
Yep.
About 20 minutes later, it went off a second time. And it's like, okay, so we kind of looked. No, there's nothing over there. Well, about 2 hours later, the thing goes off again, but it went off solid for like 8 minutes. It didn't stop. And we flipped our flashlights on. We were looking all over that side of the room. We could not see anything. And it just solid for 8 minutes. And then it went off, and it didn't go off the rest of the night.
In the auditorium room is just a big open room. There's no furniture, no nothing. I mean, it's just
it was just a big empty room.
Yeah. So
we stayed the night in Blue Hill in Nebraska, and yeah, everyone, was crashing upstairs, and I stayed on an air mattress downstairs in the living room, and we all had REMs set up in the room and cat balls and stuff, right, and cameras on it. And I thought about it for a minute. I was like, maybe I should set up the music box. I'm like, yeah, there's no way in hell I want to wake up to that at 2 in the morning or whatever. No.
Yeah.
The first time it's cool, and then it just kind of is like, okay, that's enough. We need to sleep.
Yeah.
I
another
don't know
thing
that
I
I
want to
could do
mention
that.
about the equipment is he has a 3D printer, so he creates all of the boxes and everything. So the fun part about that is that you can do all kinds of colors. So we have you can get a matching set of equipment and everything, but we have stuff that glows in the dark. For the girls that like glitter, I'm one of those. We have stuff with glitter in it, but and we can do some custom work.
See if you can see that, but it's got
okay,
it's embossed underneath, so we can put your your group's logo or your team logo and stuff on it. We have the ability to emboss it like this is, or we can actually print it flush with multiple colors.
Yeah, and full color.
And up to 8 different colors.
Wow.
So
very nice.
The box can be one color. You can have up to 7 more colors within the logo itself.
Yeah, I love that the 3D printing is taking off, in the paranormal field. I think it's just going to continue to help, keep costs down, but also encourage creativity without having to, blueprint a design and then send it off to China or wherever to get it, molded and then sent back to you.
Show up, but
yeah, okay.
It's not very focused.
But you got like purple, white, and black for that. Yeah.
But yeah, so we were able to do, a logo on the equipment for them, which, it's always cool when you can have something with your team on it.
Right.
Give me all the glitter. That is so me. I love all the glitter stuff.
And then this is just a simple little REM pod that we've come up with. It's got a LED light on it. That's me because I'm holding it. But it's got a removable antenna. So when you're packing it away at the end of the night, pull the antenna off, stick it in your gear bag, or
so you don't have a broken antenna or one that's all wonky that you can't get fixed.
And that's my big complaint with the original REM pods. They're great, but that screw in radio antenna, I've stripped a few connectors on them now.
Yeah, he's converted some for a few people.
Yeah. And then last thing is this is our newest piece of equipment. This is an EVP burst box. We use it for burst EVP sessions.
Okay.
But essentially what it does is it's got the microphones on the end here, and it'll you hit the button, it'll record for up to 120 seconds. And then you can play it back immediately. To 120 seconds. And it's got an amplifier built in, so you can turn it up while you're playing it back. It does not actually save the EVP. So if you catch something, you have to play it again and record it to another device.
Okay.
Typically, what people are using this for is they're supplementing other equipment that they're already using. So if they've got a recorder or a camera or something already running, they're using this more for like the instant feedback to kind of help them direct their investigation.
Interesting. Okay. And do you have to keep the button pushed while you're recording, or is it
while you're recording? Yeah, while you're recording, yes, you have to hold the button. To playback. Gotcha. You can just press it.
Cool.
And rechargeable?
Uses a 9-volt.
Oh, 9-volt.
Changeable on the side here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's been great for me because I stay so busy that if I do EVP sessions somewhere, they just end up on my recorder in my bag, and time goes by and I forget about them. I just can never get back to listening to them. And so that's been really good because I can do my review right there. And then too, if I'm getting something, I know how to direct my questions, which is really nice. And we did the very first time we took this out, we were at an old psychiatric hospital down in a tunnel system. And it was one of those situations we talked about earlier where it was really dark and it kind of kept getting darker. And we were in an underground tunnel. There was no light coming in there at all. The doors to get in there didn't even have windows. And it just kept getting darker and darker. And I'm not one that ever really feels much, but I'm like, I have this feeling like right back here. And we were doing this session asking questions and we played it back and it just sounded like somebody went right behind me. And that freaked me out because there were 4 of us sitting right there and we heard nothing.
Yeah. We had just made the comment too about how it was getting darker and you could kind of feel the energy changing. And then, we got that on the recorder.
And then you get that. Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy, but it was cool.
So Jonathan Reese, he likes your REM pods.
Jonathan, yes. We've got such amazing supporters, the people that, I've said it before too, like they buy stuff from our shop, we get to know them, they invite us out on an investigation, we meet up, and we just have made such amazing friends. And when things come out, they're the first ones to support us and pick up the new devices. And it's been awesome.
That's what we've learned in the field is, everyone's in it for the same thing. And you just build a friendship and make new friends or even new family,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I learned so much, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. If you're open to learning from others, I think Gina's on here. I'm pretty sure it was her. We were at a location and she pulled out a coloring book with some crayons. And I went, what a simple thing, but what a great way to go into a children's room and sit down with a coloring book and open it up and start coloring. I actually did that. I can't remember what location I was at. Might have been Beatty Mansion. And I started having like the REM pod go off when I would, have a discussion back and forth. And it was just like, we were just kind of playing. But I thought that was such a great idea. And, something anybody can go to the Dollar Tree and buy. And yeah. So now I've got a crayons and a coloring book in my gear bag.
Yep.
Yeah, like we've been talking about having to carry a deck of cards.
That's what I was
Yep.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Having so many people on, we get to hear different stuff that people use. And Jill Shelley at the Boyd House was talking about a deck of cards. And we were like,
we played, we were playing poker at the Haunted Hill House in Texas with a deck of cards. And,
that was wild.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting.
Cool.
But we also were doing poker chips in the basement of the Boyd House in Minnesota. And we had reactions and got a lot of good stuff in that
I've
atmosphere
never been to
too.
the Boyd House.
Yeah, you did.
Well, it's like one of the first
when they left,
first
we were
videos
there.
I ever edited for the team was Aaron was doing an EVP somewhere, and you're going to have to remind me where, Aaron, but you caught the sound of poker chips being
That was
shuffled.
Fort Laramie.
Oh.
So it was a original Fort Ford, if you go way back, and then Fort Laramie. In the 1860s, they sent troops to out east for the Civil War. But they have, and I had never. Fort Laramie is somewhere that every fourth grader in the southeast corner of Wyoming goes to. So I haven't been born and raised here. You know, I went there when I was a kid, and we've been up there a few times. And Gina and I are walking around, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh, what's the store over here? I had never been in the back of the saloon. They have a little saloon where they sell sarsaparilla, but behind it is the original poker room and billiards room. We walked in, and it's all plexiglass. And within 30 seconds of starting to do EVPs, you hear someone grab a chip and like splash the pot. So you hear all the chips.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. So,
And I think we've got that one up on our YouTube, the audio file of that. So
Yeah.
if anyone wants to hear
Have
that,
to
go
check
check
that
it out. It was
out.
really cool.
yeah, that one's pretty neat. So,
All right. Well, we got to put you guys into the green room real quick while we do our little sponsor call, and then we'll bring you back in and hear some more about you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So just wanted to take a minute, Aaron, and talk about our new sponsor again that we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Horn Paranormal. We got Scott and Kimberly Horn that run that. Wonderful people in the field. Who said they were one of the first guest on our podcast.
Yep.
So they've supported us from the beginning, and yeah, wonderful people. They have hornparanormal.shop to go, and they are a paranormal equipment supplier with, I think, their newest product being the Prox Box. So just wanted
and
to
the Raven too. That was one of their newest ones. Yeah, we use their SLS. You've probably seen it on some of our stuff. They're doing an XLS now and a new piece of equipment that we can't really talk about until we start to show it. But they have one and we're going to have one. So that'll be pretty fun.
Yep. So stay tuned to, see us using and testing that out for them. And then we also use their REM devices. And I believe those are what we have for some events coming up as well.
Yeah. And our other sponsor, Twinkle Twinkle Little Store, Patricia and Tim over there. Good people. Absolutely love them. I saw that they just celebrated their 23rd wedding anniversary. And
amazing.
Yeah. They have the new store in the mall. Go check them out. Let them know that we sent you.
Yeah, let them know. Tell them happy anniversary. And yeah, the new store in the mall is absolutely beautiful. So really happy for them that they were able to get that space and turn it into their own. So
yeah.
All right, let's bring Journey into the Haunted back on, and there we go. Thanks for bearing with us on that little break there.
No problem.
So you talked about the two events and that you're so far out having to get places. Is there anywhere that you're looking at this point to have something later in the year or early next year?
You know, we haven't really gotten that far, I guess. We've kind of got our schedule out for the year. We're doing a lot of collaborations this year that tends to be my favorite thing. And I think every single one of them is somebody we have met through our Etsy store, which is just so cool. It is so cool. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and then yeah.
We've got an event coming up with Mid 10 Paranormal at the McIntyre Villa. It's in May. May.
It's actually New Star Event Company that's hosting that, and they will be there. And then Mid 10 Paranormal out of Tennessee, and Mark and I will be there, kind of helping run the event. But it's two different nights. It's a Friday night and Saturday night, and I think it's kind of a neat thing. They have ticket options. You can come Friday night only, Saturday night only, or you can come for both nights.
Huh?
So that's pretty cool. We did that last year, and it was really a lot of fun.
Nice.
We've got some investigations coming up with some of our friends out of Texas that are coming up to Sally House and McIntyre. So we'll be down for that here next couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
So yeah, that's just us personally investigating. That's not an event or anything, but
Mhm.
we do have several events, or not events. We have several investigations coming up that have been customers or people that we've met through the store and stuff. It's really kind of cool.
Do you guys post any of your findings? Do you do that on your Facebook page or anything?
We
Or
haven't
maybe go
really
live or anything?
done that. We will go live. We don't do a lot of video or anything because we just stay really busy and don't really have the time to kind of do that. So, but I do a lot. I haven't done it so much lately because it's just been kind of chaos. But one of my favorite things is, we're both photographers, so I love to go into a location, do a quick tour, and then I like to just wander off on my own with my camera and try and capture the beauty in the old rundown places and stuff. So that's actually how Journey into the Haunted even began. Is I was accumulating all of these pictures that I loved of all these great locations, and I just kind of wanted a place to dump them and share them, and that's how the
That's how
Facebook
that's
page
how the
even-
name, yeah, that's how the
That's-
name came about, was
yeah.
from,
Very
it's-
cool.
Nice.
We've really evolved.
yeah. Yeah, that was the origination of the name, is she wanted a name for something for her photography when she was
Yeah.
going to these places. So
And then I've
yeah,
seen
we
you.
kind of bloomed from there.
Then I've seen you've done some cons. You were just at
Yeah,
Missouri.
we did the Missouri Paracon. It was the first year, and it was incredible. Like, they actually have sent out an email to the vendors and are taking basically a list of people who want to return next year. And I immediately said yes. It was phenomenal. It was so well organized, and they had such a wonderful lineup of special guests. A lot of the Ghost Hunters folks were there. Amy Bruni, Adam Berry, Dustin Perry, Steve Gonzalez, Dave Tango, and they had some people who are into cryptids, and they had an Egyptologist there that was
Oh.
talking. And I wish I had
That would
known
be cool.
that. I know. I would have. I'm really into that stuff. I didn't know that till it was too late. But just the mix of everybody, and it was awesome. It was such a great event, and every single attendee that I talked to was having like the time of their life, and we were all sad when it came to an end. So just a big hats off to the folks that put on Missouri Paracon. And they did announce it as well, obviously coming back for next year, and we plan to be there. And the dates are up. If you go to MissouriParacon.com, the dates are out there, and I think they're even starting to sell tickets and VIP options and all of that. So I know we've got some special guests already lined up for next year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a fun one.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be February 27th and 28th of 2026.
Just never know what that late February weather is going to be like trying to get out of Wyoming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were worried about that ourselves, because it's a 4.5 hour drive from here,
Oh,
but it was 80-degree weather this time. So
Nice.
yeah,
4.5 hours. I wish.
yeah,
And we were taking ice off the sidewalk like 2 days
Yeah.
before that. It was
yeah. We had a
crazy.
huge ice storm like 2-3 days before that. It's like, hopefully this is okay, and then 80 degrees.
Any other cons coming up for you guys in the rest of the year?
Probably not this year. We might look a little more into it next year. We've got a lot of travel planned this year, and we both work full time, and you only get so many vacation days, so we kind of
Yeah.
try and plan everything around that. So I think just our couple events will be about it for this year, and then our private investigations, and we'll see where things take us for next year.
Nice. Yeah, we understand there's 4 in our group and we all hold full-time jobs, and yeah, you try to do that. And we also film and do episodes for Paraflix, and yeah, so it can get real busy real quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we decided to add this in October, and this has been a great experience for us to be
It
able to
really
bring
has.
people like you on and chat with, the people behind the scenes or building the equipment and hosting the events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate you guys coming on. And if you're over this way to the west, you're more than welcome to come out and investigate with us.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we get out to Denver area probably once a year at least.
Oh,
So we've been through Cheyenne many times.
yeah,
so.
just an hour and a half away from Denver. So,
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
good.
give us
We're
a
on
holler.
the way.
Jason has keys to a place we're always welcome in, and we'll get you in there, and it's a good time.
Yeah, I think we're spending the 4th in the Grand Lake Estes Park area, so
Oh,
it'll be
nice.
a good
Yep.
time.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a beautiful area.
Yep.
Yeah, if you know of anywhere in that area, let me know.
Yeah, we'll
Besides the Stanley,
Yeah,
we know about the Stanley.
do. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Everyone knows the Stanley.
Yeah,
We might know someone who might know something.
yeah.
We'll let
I
you know.
figured you might. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's you're doing that when?
We're going out the 4th, coming back like the 10th or something. I think.
Of April?
Of July.
July.
Oh, July. Oh, we're going to be in Gettysburg.
Oh,
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Yeah, we're going out to Gettysburg July 1 through 6. So,
Is that the big event, or are you just going out there to?
no, I went out a few years ago to help with Dinner with a Ghost that John
Yeah, I've
Cushman
heard
puts
that.
on. So I went out and helped him with his event, and spent 3 nights out on the battlefields with Christy Ayers and some other people from there. And it was a good time. And Gina didn't get to go. So this year I was like, hey, let's take a vacation and go. And she was like, yeah.
Nice.
And then we offered it up to the rest of the team, and Jason was like, we're there, we're going.
Yeah.
So now it's turned into a team thing, and we're definitely going to have to find somewhere to investigate when we get out there.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we spent a day. We didn't do an overnight investigation or anything, but we spent the day running around Gettysburg and the battlefields and stuff. It was very interesting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is the actual battlefield days in 1863. So that's when we spent out there. We spent from like 11:30 till probably 4 in the morning. The battlefields are actually closed from sunset till sunrise.
Yep.
But black rental car, and we just went back there. That's what we do. Very cool place, supercharged. If you guys were there, you can feel it wherever you go. Just standing there and you hear musket fire, come around a corner and heard a bugle. Like it's audible, it's so
Yes.
crazy. So I wanted to get her out there and now them, and it'll be a good time.
That'll be awesome for you.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. We're
Thank
going to throw you
you.
into the room. We'll chat with you a little bit when we finish up here. And
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Another night of great people.
Yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
that's why I love doing this. We get to talk to so many different people from across the US that, has the same passion we do. And, it's fun hearing their stories and, seeing their contributions to the field.
Seeing the people that they know over here in the comments just blowing it up. They have some great people that follow them too.
Yeah, they got some great supporters.
So one quick thing to let everyone know, episode 3 is dropping on Paraflix, Way Out West Paranormal, and that's going to be at the Military Memorial Museum here in Cheyenne. We had some great stuff. That's going to drop on the 29th, and we're excited to get that out.
Yeah, I can't wait for this one to get out. It's such a cool location that, I'm excited to see people's reactions to it.
And we went in there expecting one thing and ended up with something totally different.
Completely different.
Not even
And-
what we thought.
Nope, but absolutely awesome. So yeah, that was, I think, one of the best nights we've had.
So don't forget to go check out Journey in the Haunted on their Facebook page. That'll get you to their link tree or over to their Etsy shop. They have really cool, good juju dolls. I told them at the beginning I'm going to have to get one.
Yeah.
And everyone have a good night, and thanks for watching.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
The Paranomalies podcast would like to thank Twinkle Twinkle Little Store located in Cheyenne, Wyoming for sponsoring our show.